Warren Hale found this girl 20 feet from his barn door, small body folded in fresh snow, one hand reaching toward the light he'd left burning inside. 11:47 p.m., December 18th, 1994. He'd been doing his nightly rounds, checking locks like he always did, when he saw the dark shape. Thought it was a coyote at first, moved closer. Christ. A kid. She was maybe 9, thin as fence wire. Wore a donated coat 3 sizes too big, frozen stiff as cardboard, one eye swollen shut from cold exposure, the other half open, ice on the lashes. His barn door, locked, always locked. His house. 200 yards up the drive, every window lit, warm. How long had she been out here? Warren dropped to his knees, pressed 2 fingers to her neck, pulse, faint, but there. He looked back at his house, all that light, all that heat, all that empty space. Then he looked at her hand, still reaching. Picked her up, she weighed nothing, started running. He'd stopped praying 30 years ago, but carrying her into the light, feeling how little she weighed, Warren Hale found himself whispering something that sounded close enough to count. The barn was closer than the house. Warmer, too. He'd left the heaters running for the animals. He kicked the door open, laid her on a horse blanket near the propane heater. His hands were shaking. When was the last time he'd touched another person? Her lips were blue, pulse still there, but thread thin. He pulled off her frozen coat, cheap polyester, donated probably, and found a plastic ID tag safety pinned inside. Montana Department of Social Services. Emergency foster placement. Expiration date, 4 months ago. Warren looked at the barn phone on the wall. His first call in 3 years that wasn't about cattle or feed prices. Rita answered on the second ring. Warren, it's midnight. Need you here, now. What happened? Just come. He hung up. Turned back to the girl. She was so small, 9, maybe. Dark hair, matted with ice, face gray, one eye swollen, completely shut. Old bruise, not from the cold. The other eye cracked open while he watched. She saw him. Tried to scream. Nothing came out. Easy, Warren said. His voice sounded wrong, too loud, too rough. You're safe. She didn't believe him. He could see it. Smart kid. Rita Blackfeather made the 10-minute drive in 6. Didn't knock, just came through the barn door, carrying her first aid kit, and a wool blanket from her truck. Lord have mercy, she breathed, seeing the girl. Then to Warren, you call an ambulance. Storm's coming. They won't make it up the drive. Rita knelt beside the girl, hands moving with practiced calm. Checked pulse, breathing, core temperature. Hypothermia, not too far gone, but close. She looked up at Warren. Get me warm water, not hot. Warm, and glucose if you got any. Warren had both in the house. He ran. When he came back, Rita had the girl wrapped in the wool blanket, rubbing her hands gently. Talk to her, Warren. She can hear you. What do I say? Anything. Just let her know she's not alone. Warren set the water and glucose down, cleared his throat. Kid, you're gonna be okay. We're helping you. The girl's good eye tracked him, still afraid, still ready to run. Rita dipped a cloth in the warm water, dabbed it on the girl's lips. Slow sips, honey. That's it. The girl drank, coughed, drank again. Color started coming back to her face. Not much, but some. Rita worked quietly, efficiently, checking fingers and toes for frostbite, warming her core, praying under her breath in Crow, then English. Warren stood there, useless, watching. After 20 minutes, the girl's breathing steadied. After 30, she could talk. Where am I? Voice like gravel, barely above a whisper. My ranch, Warren said. You're safe. You gonna call them? Who? The people? Her good eye darted to the ID tag on her coat. The social services. Warren looked at Rita. Rita looked back. Roads are closed, Warren said finally. Storm coming. Can't get through till morning. First lie. Roads were clear. Storm wasn't forecast till tomorrow night. The girl knew it too. He could see the calculation in her face. Can you stand? Rita asked. The girl tried, made it halfway before her legs gave out. Warren caught her. Instinct, nothing more. And she flinched so hard he nearly dropped her. Won't hurt you, he said. That's what they all say. Something cold settled in Warren's chest. Who? But she'd stopped talking again. They moved her to the house. Rita's idea. Girl needed a real bed, real heat, real care. Warren carried her because she couldn't walk. Felt her shaking the whole way. Fear or cold, he didn't know. The guest bedroom was at the end of the upstairs hall. Warren hadn't opened that door in 20 years. Dust thick on everything. Bed stripped to the mattress. Rita made it up quick. Sheets from the linen closet, extra blankets, 2 pillows. Warren stood in the doorway, remembering. This was supposed to be the nursery. Warren, Rita's voice, sharp. Help me here. He moved, helped settle the girl into bed. Rita tucked the blankets around her like she was wrapping something precious. You hungry, honey? Rita asked. The girl nodded. I'll make soup. Warren, you stay with her. Don't let her fall asleep yet, not till I check her pupils again. Rita left. Warren stood at the foot of the bed, 6 feet away, hands in his pockets. The girl watched him. Thank you, she whispered. First thing she'd said that wasn't a question or an accusation. Yeah, Warren said. Didn't know what else to say. Silence. House settling, wind picking up outside. What's your name? Warren finally asked. Iris. That's a flower. I know. She pulled the blanket tighter. What's yours? Warren Hale. You rich? He blinked. What makes you say that? Big house, lots of land. You got that look? What look? Like you're used to people doing what you say. Warren almost smiled. Almost. Yeah, I got some money. Then why'd you let me stay? Why wouldn't I? Iris looked at him for a long moment. Rich people don't usually help. Maybe I'm not usual. Maybe. She didn't sound convinced. Rita came back with chicken broth and crackers. Iris ate like she'd never seen food before. Fast, desperate, barely chewing. Warren turned away. Couldn't watch. When the bowl was empty, Rita checked Iris's pupils with a flashlight, felt her hands and feet, asked questions about dizziness and pain. Finally nodded. She'll be okay. Needs rest and warmth. And food. Lots of it. Warren exhaled. Hadn't realized he was holding his breath. Rita packed up her kit. At the doorway, she turned to Warren. Low voice. You gonna call the sheriff? Storm's coming. Warren, that ain't what I asked. He looked at Iris. She was already half asleep, curled small under the blankets. Still shaking, still afraid. Morning, Warren said. I'll call in the morning. Second lie. Rita studied his face. Saw something there. Sighed. I'll come by at 7. Make breakfast. Rita. Don't. She touched his arm. Whatever you're thinking, think it through. That girl's been hurt enough. She left. Warren stood in the hallway. His hand was on the doorknob of Iris's room. Old habit said, lock it. Keep the world contained. Keep control. He started to turn the key. Stopped. Looked at his hand like it belonged to someone else. Left the door unlocked. Walked downstairs to his own bedroom. First floor, far end of the house. Lay on top of the covers, still dressed, boots still on. Stared at the ceiling. Didn't sleep. By the third morning, Warren had learned 3 things about the girl. She ate like she expected the food to disappear. She said thank you for everything, and she watched the door like it might lock on its own. The storm hit that second night, just like he'd lied about. Roads closed for real by morning, 3 feet of snow, drifts up to the fence lines, wind that could strip paint. Warren stood at the kitchen window drinking coffee, watching White erase his driveway. Bought himself some time. Behind him, Rita was setting the table. 3 places. First time in 30 years, there'd been 3 of anything in this house. She still asleep? Rita asked. Think so. Let her rest. Girl needs it. Warren nodded, kept watching the snow. You know they'll ask why you didn't call yesterday, Rita said. I know. Before the storm. I know, Miss Warren. Roads are closed now. That's what matters. Rita was quiet a moment. Then, you thought about what happens when they open? He hadn't. Didn't want to. Footsteps on the stairs, soft, hesitant, they both turned. Iris stood in the doorway wearing the same clothes from 2 nights ago, now washed and dried. Her hair was wet. She'd showered. The swelling around her eye had gone down some. She looked less like a ghost. Still too thin. Still afraid. Morning, Warren said. Morning. She didn't move from the doorway. Eyes on the table, the food, Rita, Warren, back to the door. Calculating. You hungry? Rita asked. Yes, ma'am. Sit down, honey. Warren, get her some juice. Warren poured orange juice. Had to dig in the back of the fridge for it. Hadn't bought juice in years. Set it in front of Iris. Thank you, she whispered. Rita brought over scrambled eggs, toast, bacon. Set it all down. Eat slow, okay? Your stomach needs time. But Iris didn't eat slow. Ate like the food might vanish. Ate like someone might take it away. Warren watched from across the table, coffee cup frozen halfway to his mouth. Rita caught his eye, shook her head slightly. Don't say anything. When Iris finished, she looked up, saw them both watching. Her face closed off. Sorry, she said. For what? Warren asked. Eating too fast. You were hungry. I know, but... She stopped. Never mind. Rita started clearing plates. Warren, why don't you show Iris around? Girl needs to know where things are. Warren blinked. Show her what? The house. The barn. I don't know, whatever you show people. I don't show people anything. Well, start. Warren gave the worst tour in history, walked Iris through the downstairs, pointing at rooms. Kitchen. Living room, bathroom, my room. Don't go in there. Upstairs. Your room, other bedrooms. Don't open those either. Iris followed 3 steps behind, silent. At the linen closet, Warren stopped, opened it, looked at the boxes on the top shelf, hadn't touched them in 2 decades, started to close the door. What's in those? Iris asked. Nothing. Doesn't look like nothing. Warren pulled one box down, dust thick as fur. Inside, women's clothes, sweaters, jeans, a winter coat. His wife's things. Kept meaning to donate them, never did. He held up the coat. You need something warmer. This'll fit. Iris stared at it. That's somebody's. Was. Who? Warren's jaw tightened. Someone who doesn't need it anymore. They die? Kids, no filter, oh, no mercy. Yeah, Warren said. Long time ago. Iris took the coat carefully like it was glass. I'll take care of it. It's just a coat. No, it's not. She was right. It wasn't. That afternoon, the snow stopped. Sun came out hard and bright, turning everything to blinding white. Iris stood at the window, nose against the glass. Can we go outside? She asked. Warren looked at Rita. Rita shrugged. Girl's been inside 2 days. Little air won't hurt. So they went to the barn. Iris wore the coat, drowning in it, sleeves rolled up 3 times. Walked slow through the snow, testing each step. Warren walked beside her, not touching, just there. The barn was warm, smelled like hay and animals. 3 horses, 1 old cattle dog, a half-dozen chickens, and 2 bottle-fed calves that would be sold in spring. Iris went straight to the calves. They don't have names, Warren said before she could ask. Why not? They're cattle. Don't need names. Iris looked at him like he'd said something offensive. Turned back to the calves. Pointed at the black one. That's Midnight. The brown one with the white face. That's Biscuit. Kid. And that one, pointing at a white chicken, is Marshmallow. Warren opened his mouth, closed it. What was he supposed to say? No, you can't name my animals. Fine, he muttered. Name whatever you want. Iris smiled. First real smile he'd seen. Something in Warren's chest cracked. Not much, just a little. The old dog, Blue, limped over, sniffed Iris. She knelt down, let him lick her face, laughed. The sound was strange in the quiet barn, light, young. Warren hadn't heard a child laugh in 30 years. He turned away, pretended to check the water trough. Behind him, Iris was talking to the animals like they were people, telling them about the snow, about the house, about Warren. He's kind of grumpy, but I think he's okay. Warren's throat went tight. Rita appeared in the barn doorway, shaking snow off her boots. Saw Iris with the animals, saw Warren's face. You okay? She asked quietly. Fine. You're not fine. Said I'm fine. Rita watched him. When's the last time you had someone here, Warren? Someone who wasn't me? He didn't answer. That long, huh? Drop it, Rita. But she wouldn't. She's good for you. She's a kid who needs help. That's all. If you say so. I do. Rita smiled. Didn't believe him for a second. That night, they established their first real routine. Dinner at 6:30. Rita cooked. Warren didn't know how to cook for more than one. Iris set the table without being asked. They ate in near silence. Warren wasn't good at conversation. Iris didn't know what was safe to say. Rita carried what little talk there was. After dinner, Iris asked if she could watch TV. Sure, Warren said. He never watched TV. She found cartoons. Sat cross-legged on the couch, too close to the screen. Warren sat in his chair, pretended to read the paper. Watched her instead. She laughed at the cartoons. Laughed like she'd forgotten how, then remembered. Rita came out of the kitchen, drying her hands, saw Warren watching Iris, said nothing, just smiled, and left. At 8:30, Iris started nodding off. Bed, Warren said. I'm not tired. Yeah, you are. She stood up, stumbled. Warren caught her elbow. She didn't flinch this time. Progress. Good night, she said at the stairs. Night. She climbed halfway up, stopped. Warren. Yeah? Thank you for letting me stay. He didn't know what to say to that. Settled on. Roads are still closed. She smiled a little. I know. After she was gone, Warren did his nightly rounds. Checked the doors, checked the windows, checked the locks. Old habit, ritual. The one thing that made sense when nothing else did. Got to Iris's door. His hand went to the lock automatically. Stopped. Left it unlocked again. Stood there in the dark hallway, staring at his own hand. Rita had left an hour ago. House was quiet except for the wind outside and the old furnace kicking on. Warren went downstairs. Sat in the dark living room. Didn't turn on the lights. Thought about the call he should have made. The call he didn't make. The call he wouldn't make tomorrow either. His phone sat on the side table. Silent. Accusing. He picked it up, put it down, picked it up again. Thought about what Rita had said. What happens when the road's open? He didn't know. Wasn't ready to find out. Set the phone back down, left it there, went to bed, didn't sleep again. Why don't you go to church? Iris asked on Sunday morning, watching the empty road where everyone else's trucks had already passed. Warren looked at the coffee in his hands like it might answer for him. They were on the front porch, day 7. Roads still closed, but passable if you had four-wheel drive and nerve. Warren had both, hadn't left the property anyway. Church bells rang in the distance. Salvation Valley Church, 3 miles down the valley, could hear them clear on Sunday mornings when the wind was right. Just don't, Warren said finally. How come? Don't believe in it. Iris watched him. You don't believe in God? Didn't say that. Then what don't you believe in? Warren took a long drink of coffee. People who say they talk to God but won't talk to their neighbors. Iris thought about that. Rita goes to church. Rita's different. How? She means it. The bells kept ringing. Warren's jaw got tighter with each one. You used to go, Iris said. Not a question. How'd you know that? You get that look. Like it hurts to hear them. And kid was too damn smart for her own good. Yeah, Warren said. Long time ago. What happened? Lost someone. Decided God wasn't listening. Who'd you lose? Warren stood up. Come on. Need to check the water lines in the barn. Conversation over. But Iris followed him, and kids don't quit asking questions just because you walk away. The barn was warm, animals moving in their stalls. Warren checked the heated water lines, making sure nothing had frozen overnight. Iris wandered, looking at things, touching things. Being 9 years old in a space that hadn't seen a child in decades. She climbed up on the old workbench, swung her legs, knocked something with her boot, metallic clatter. What's this, boom? She held it up. Warren's stomach dropped. The kerosene lantern. Brass, dented, glass clouded with age, his father's. Used it the night. Put that back, Warren said. Came out sharper than he meant. Iris froze. Sorry, I didn't. Just put it down. She set it on the workbench carefully, slid off, started to leave. Wait. Warren didn't know why he said it. Don't go. Iris stopped, turned around, waited. Warren picked up the lantern, dust thick on it. Hadn't touched the thing in 30 years. Kept it because, hell, he didn't even know why. My father's, he said, voice rough. Used it when I was a kid, back before we had electric in the barn. It's pretty. It's old. Can you light it? Warren turned it over, glass cracked, wick dry and brittle, brass tarnished black in places. No. Why not? Broken. Can you fix it? He examined it closer. Could probably replace the glass, get a new wick, polish the brass. Could do all that. Used to be good with his hands, before he spent 20 years signing papers instead of doing real work. Yeah, he said slowly. Could. So why don't you? Warren looked at her. 9 years old, refugee from 6 foster homes, asking questions that cut straight through. Some things stay broken, kid, he said. It came out harder than he meant. Truth usually did. Iris studied him. But you could try. Why would I? Because it's pretty, and it's your dad's. And, she shrugged. I don't know, seems sad to keep something broken. Warren set the lantern back on the shelf, turned away. Don't touch that, he said. Okay. But something had shifted. He could feel it. Like a door opening inside him that he'd nailed shut. That afternoon, Rita called. Bad news. County Social Services had called her back. Roads were clearing. They wanted to send someone by the end of the week. Warren took the call in his office. Iris was upstairs, didn't hear. Friday, Rita said. Maybe Thursday if the highway clears faster. What did you tell them? That the girl's safe. That you're taking good care of her. And they said that's nice, but you're not a licensed foster provider, Warren. You're a single man with no family, no clearances, keeping a minor without authorization. Warren's hand tightened on the phone. She was dying when I found her. I know. They threw her away. I know that too. So, what am I supposed to do? Just hand her back? Silence on the line. Then Rita quiet. I don't know. But Warren, listen, you keep her much longer without legal standing, you're going to have real problems. Criminal problems. Don't care. You should. Why? What are they going to do? Take my ranch? Fine. Take it. Warren, I got lawyers. Good ones. We'll fight it. On what grounds? I don't know yet. I'll figure it out, Rita sighed. You getting attached to that girl. No, I'm not. You are. And Warren, her voice got softer. That's good. That's real good. But you got to think about what's best for her. I am thinking about her. Are you? Or are you thinking about yourself? Warren didn't answer. Rita let the silence sit. Then, I'll be there tomorrow morning. We need to talk. All three of us. She hung up. Warren sat at his desk, staring at nothing. Friday, maybe Thursday. 4 days, maybe 3. Not enough time. Would never be enough time. Dinner that night was quieter than usual. Warren pushed food around his plate. Rita watched him worry. Iris felt the tension, but didn't know what it meant. After Rita left, Warren and Iris ended up in the living room again. Their routine now. Cartoons for her, newspaper for him, silence for both. During a commercial, Iris turned down the volume. "Can I ask you something?" she said. Might not answer. "Why'd you let me stay?" There it was, the question she'd been building toward for a week. Warren folded his newspaper, looked at her. Roads were closed. They're not closed now. Storm damage. Bridge is out. Another lie. Bridge was fine. Iris watched him. "You're not very good at lying." "That's so." "Yeah, your eye does this thing." What thing?" "Twitches. Right there." She pointed at the corner of his left eye. Warren touched his face. Did it twitch? He had no idea. "You got people?" he asked, changing subject. Iris went quiet, looked at her hands. "No. None? Mom died when I was 6. Drugs. Don't know who my dad is. Don't think Mom did either." Warren's chest tightened. "I'm sorry." She shrugged. "It's okay. Foster system took me. 6 homes in 4 years. 6? Yeah, they kept sending me back. Said I was difficult." The word came out bitter. "Difficult how?" "Talked back. Asked too many questions. Didn't smile enough." She picked at a thread on the couch. "Last family was okay for a while. Ron and Diane. They were nice at first." "What happened?" "I broke a plate. Accident. But Diane got really mad. Said I didn't respect their things." Iris's voice got smaller. "She started locking me in my room. For discipline. Then it was the shed. Then..." She stopped. "Then what?" "Then it was outside. In winter. Just for an hour," she said. But it got longer. And colder. And her breath hitched. "I tried to tell my caseworker, but she said I was exaggerating. Said I had behavioral issues." Warren's hands curled into fists. "So I ran," Iris finished. "Walked 8 miles. Saw your lights. Tried the barn door, but it was locked. I was so cold. I couldn't walk anymore." She wiped her eyes. "Sorry. You didn't ask for all that." "Don't be sorry. You probably think I'm difficult too." Warren looked at this kid, this small, fierce, broken kid who'd walked 8 miles through snow and still said thank you for every meal. "You talk back a lot?" he asked. "Sometimes." "Good," Warren said. "World needs people who talk back. Needs people who ask questions." Iris blinked. "Really? Really? Anybody tells you different is scared of what you might figure out." Something shifted in her face, like she'd been waiting her whole life for someone to say that. "Thank you," she whispered. "Yeah." They sat there. Iris turned the TV back up. Warren pretended to read his paper, but he wasn't reading. He was thinking about Thursday, maybe Friday, 3 days, maybe 4, and what the hell he was going to do when they came for her. Pastor Gould's truck pulled into Warren's drive on Sunday morning, the same morning the church bells started, and stopped 3 times, like a question no one wanted to answer. Warren saw him from the kitchen window, white Silverado with the church decal on the door. Pastor Raymond in his Sunday suit, Bible on the passenger seat. "Rita called him," Warren said. Iris looked up from her cereal. "Who?" "Pastor, from the church." Warren set his coffee down. "Stay inside." "No, why?" "Just do it." He went out alone. Met Pastor Gould halfway up the walk. Snow crunching under boots. Cold enough to see breath. "Warren." Pastor Gould extended his hand. Warren didn't take it. "What do you want, Raymond?" "We need to talk about the girl." "No, we don't." "Warren, please. Just 5 minutes." Warren looked at the house. Iris's face in the kitchen window, watching, worried. 5 minutes, Warren said. "Not inside." They stood in the cold. 2 men in a standoff that felt older than this particular Sunday. Pastor Gould pulled his coat tighter. "Rita called me. Said you've been keeping a child here. Foster system runaway. I found her dying on my property. What was I supposed to do? Call the authorities. Let the professionals handle it." "I am handling it." "Warren, you're not a licensed foster provider. You can't just what? Save a kid's life? That's not what I mean, and you know it." Pastor Gould's breath came out white. "The county needs to take her. There are procedures, proper channels. Proper channels threw her outside in winter. Proper Channels gave her 6 homes in 4 years. Proper Channels don't give a damn about that kid. You don't know that. I know enough. Pastor Gould was quiet a moment, choosing words carefully. Warren, I understand your concern. I do. But there are questions. What questions? You're a single man, no family, no wife, keeping a young girl without authorization. He paused. People are concerned. Warren went very still. Concerned about what? About appearances. About, Pastor Gould couldn't quite say it, but Warren heard it anyway, heard what wasn't being said. His voice went cold. You think I'd hurt her? I didn't say that. You didn't have to. Warren, I'm not accusing you of anything, but people talk. And in a small town, get off my property. Warren, I said get off my property. Warren's voice was flat, dangerous. Now, Pastor Gould raised his hands. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to do what's right. Right for who? For her? Or for you people who need to feel good about yourselves without actually doing a damn thing? That's not fair. No, it's not. Warren stepped closer. You know what's not fair? A 9-year-old walking 8 miles through snow because the family you, Christians, placed her with locked her outside. You know what's not fair? That kid saying thank you for every meal because she's waiting for someone to take it away. You know what's not fair? Me having to stand here and defend keeping a child alive while you tell me about proper channels. Pastor Gould's face had gone red. The law is the law, Warren. Then the law's broken. Maybe, but it's still the law. They stared at each other. 30 years of Warren, not going to church, sitting between them like a wall. I'll be reporting this to the county, Pastor Gould said finally. They'll be here by Friday, with the sheriff if necessary. You do that. Warren, please, get out. Pastor Gould walked back to his truck, didn't look back. Warren stood in the cold, watching him drive away, watching his taillights disappear down the valley road toward the church. The bells started ringing again. 10 o'clock service. They sounded like judgment. Warren went back inside. Slammed the door harder than he meant. Iris jumped at the sound. What did he want? She asked. Nothing. Don't worry about it. Are you okay? I'm fine. But he wasn't fine. He was furious. Furious at the pastor, at the town, at the whole goddamn world that looked at a man trying to help and saw something dirty. I'm going to the barn, he said. Can I come? No, stay here. He left before she could ask why. The barn was cold. Hadn't turned the heaters up yet. Warren stood in the middle of it, hands in fists, breathing hard. People are concerned. Appearances. They actually thought. He grabbed a wrench off the workbench, threw it at the wall. It clanged off metal siding, fell into the hay. Didn't help. Nothing would help. Warren? He spun around. Iris stood in the barn doorway, small and worried and holding the kerosene lantern. What are you doing out here? Warren's voice came out sharp. I told you to stay inside. What I know, but She held up the lantern. I wanted to surprise you. I was cleaning it. I thought maybe. Warren saw the rag in her hand, saw the polish, saw her trying to fix something she thought would make him happy. And something in him just broke. I told you not to touch that. He crossed the barn in 3 strides, towering over her. Why can't you just listen? Iris's eyes went wide, terrified. I'm sorry. I just thought. You thought what? That you could fix it? That you could fix anything? His voice was too loud, too angry. He knew it, couldn't stop it. Iris was shaking. The lantern slipped from her hands. It hit the concrete floor. Glass exploded. Brass bounced once and went still, completely broken now. Unfixable. Silence. Iris stared at the pieces, started crying. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean. Warren looked at what he'd done, looked at her face, looked at the broken lantern between them. His throat was tight. Just get out. Warren, get out, she ran. Warren stood alone in the barn, surrounded by broken glass and 30 years of broken faith, and the look on her face that said he was just like everyone else who'd ever hurt her. He picked up a piece of the lantern. Glass cut his palm. Didn't feel it. He found her an hour later in the old bunkhouse, hiding behind a stack of feed bags, curled up small, eyes red. Kid, he said from the doorway. Kept his distance, didn't want to scare her more. I'm sorry. She didn't look at him. I shouldn't have yelled. Wasn't about you. Wasn't about the lantern. Still nothing. Warren sat down on the floor, 10 feet away, gave her space. Pastor came by. Said some things. Got in my head. Took it out on you. That's not. He stopped. Started again. That was wrong. Iris wiped her face. You gonna send me back? There it was. The question she'd asked before. The question that haunted her. No, Warren said. Everyone does. I'm not everyone. You yelled at me. I know. Just like, she stopped. Couldn't say it. I'm not them, Warren said. I'm not, I swear. Iris finally looked at him. How do I know? You don't. I can't prove it. He didn't have words. Just stay, please. Give me a chance to do better. She pulled her knees tighter to her chest. The lantern's broken. I know. You said some things stay broken. I was wrong. You said it couldn't be fixed. Warren looked at his hands. Maybe I wasn't talking about the lantern. Understanding flickered in her eyes. She got it. Got that he'd been talking about himself. Thursday, she said quietly. They're coming Thursday. I heard Rita on the phone. I know. What's gonna happen? Warren didn't have an answer, not an honest one. I don't know, he said. But I'm not letting them take you without a fight. Iris watched him, testing, deciding. Finally, slowly, she stood up, walked toward him, stopped a few feet away. Okay, she whispered. Okay? I'll stay. Till Thursday. It wasn't trust, not yet, but it was something. Warren nodded. Thank you. They walked back to the house together. Not touching, not talking. Just two broken people trying to figure out how to not break each other worse. That night, the church bells rang at sunset. Special prayer service or something. Warren didn't know. Didn't care. They sounded different now. Not like judgment. Like a warning. The church bells stopped ringing Tuesday morning, and by Wednesday, Warren understood what silence sounded like when an entire town decided you weren't worth saving. No deliveries came. Feed store said their truck was down. Grocery delivery never showed. Phone rang twice. Both times hung up when Warren answered. Rita came by anyway. Church people asked me to quit, she said, making coffee like nothing was wrong. Told them where they could put that idea. Warren watched her move around his kitchen. You don't have to do this. I know. They'll make your life hell. Let them try. She set coffee in front of him. How's Iris? Quiet. She scared? Yeah. Did you? Warren didn't answer. Rita sat down. County called. Confirmed Friday. Social worker and a sheriff's deputy. They're not asking anymore, Warren. They're taking her. I know. You got a plan? No. She waited. I don't know what to do, Warren said finally. First time he'd admitted it out loud. Rita reached across the table, squeezed his hand. I know. Wednesday afternoon, Warren took Iris into town. Needed to pick up medicine for one of the horses. Couldn't wait for delivery that wasn't coming. Mistake. Hank's diner was half full when they walked in. Familiar faces. People Warren had known 40 years. Conversation stopped. Mrs. Henderson at the counter looked at them, picked up her purse, left money on the bar, walked out. Then Tom Ridley and his wife. Then the Johnsons. One by one, booths emptying. By the time Warren and Iris sat down, only two people remained. Old Carl sitting in the back, deaf and reading his paper, and Hank behind the counter looking uncomfortable. Warren, Hank said, apology in his voice. Maybe today's not. 2 coffees, Warren said. 1 hot chocolate. Hank looked at the empty diner, at Warren, at Iris sitting small in the booth, watching everything, understanding everything. Sure, Hank said quietly. Coming right up. They sat in silence. The whole town's judgment sitting invisible in the empty seats around them. Iris's hot chocolate came. She didn't touch it. They hate me, she whispered. No, they do. They hate me and they hate you because of me. Iris, I should go. I should leave before Friday. Save you the trouble. Warren's chest went tight. That's not what I want. But it's what they want. She looked at him with eyes too old for 9. And they're right. You're going to get in trouble because of me. Don't care. You should. Warren wanted to say something that would fix this. Something that would make her understand. But what? That she was worth losing everything? That he'd choose her over the whole damn town? He would. But saying it out loud felt like too much weight for a kid to carry. So he just said, drink your chocolate before it gets cold. She didn't. Neither of them touched their drinks. They left money on the counter and walked out. Behind them, Hank turned the radio up to fill the silence. Thursday morning, 1 day left. Warren woke to find Rita already in the kitchen, cooking breakfast with quiet fury. Eggs, bacon, biscuits, the whole spread. What's all this? Warren asked. Last breakfast, Rita said. Didn't look at him. Figured we should do it right. Last breakfast, like an execution. Iris came downstairs, saw the food, understood immediately, sat down without a word. They ate in heavy silence. Every bite felt like swallowing stones. Halfway through, the phone rang. Rita answered. Yes, she's here. Tomorrow at 10. We'll be ready. She hung up, looked at Warren. That was Ms. Vance. Social services. Confirmed for 10 a.m. Iris set down her fork. I'm not hungry anymore. She went upstairs. They heard her door close. Rita started clearing plates. Warren, don't. You need to. I said, don't. Rita stopped, looked at him. You can't save everyone. Sometimes the best you can do is let them go safe. She won't be safe. You don't know that. I know enough. Warren stood up. I know that system broke her once already. I know she walked 8 miles through snow to get away from it. I know she flinches when people move too fast and says thank you, like she's apologizing for existing, and packs her bag every night just in case. She packs her bag? Every night. Then unpacks it in the morning when she thinks I'm not looking. Rita's face crumpled. Oh, honey. Warren turned away. Couldn't look at her. Tomorrow they're taking her back to that. And I'm supposed to just let it happen because the law says so. But Warren, what kind of law protects the system and not the kid? A broken one. Then what good is it? Rita had no answer for that. That night, Warren lay awake in his bed, staring at the ceiling. Clock said 1:47 a.m. Footsteps upstairs. Soft. Careful. Then quiet. Too quiet. Warren got up, climbed the stairs in the dark. Iris's door was open. She sat on the bed, fully dressed, her small backpack beside her, the one Rita had bought her last week, now packed. What are you doing? Warren asked from the doorway. Iris jumped, saw him. Her face went defiant and terrified at once. Leaving. Like hell you are. I have to. No, you don't. Yes, I do. She stood up, shouldering the pack. If I leave now, before tomorrow, they won't blame you. They'll just say I ran away again. You'll be fine. Warren's throat closed. I'm not letting you run. You can't stop me. Iris, it's better this way. Her voice cracked. Don't you get it? They think. She couldn't say it. If I stay, they'll hurt you, arrest you or whatever. But if I just disappear, then you're just the guy who tried to help, and I'm just another foster kid who ran. Nobody gets in trouble. Where will you go? I don't know. I'll figure it out. You're 9 years old. I've done it before. And you almost died. Better than ruining your life. The words hung in the air between them. Warren stepped into the room, slowly, carefully, like approaching a wounded animal. Put the bag down, he said. No. Iris, put it down. Why should I? Because I'm asking you to. Please. She stared at him. That word again. Please. He never said please. Her hands were shaking. The bag was shaking. Everything was shaking. I'm so tired, she whispered. I'm so tired of leaving. Well, then don't. I have to. No. Warren's voice was firm, gentle. You don't? The bag slipped from her shoulder, hit the floor, and then Iris was crying. Not quiet crying. Not polite crying. The kind of crying that came from somewhere so deep it hurt to hear. Warren didn't know what to do. Didn't know if she wanted to be touched. Didn't know if... She crossed the room and buried her face in his chest. He froze. Then, slowly, carefully, he put his arms around her. She was so small. How was a person this small carrying this much weight? I don't want to go, she sobbed into his shirt. I don't want to go back there. Please don't make me go back there. Warren closed his eyes, and for the first time in 30 years, he started to cry. They sat on the floor of her room, just sat there, two people who'd forgotten how to fall apart and were remembering together. After a long time, Iris's crying slowed, became hiccups, then quiet. Warren's face was wet. He didn't wipe it. Why? Iris asked finally, voice raw. Why do you care? Warren looked at his hands. Scarred, old, useless for the things that mattered. Had a wife once, thought he said. Words he'd never said out loud. Not to Rita, not to anyone. Sarah? He stopped. She was good. Better than me. Laughed at my jokes even when they weren't funny. Made this house feel like something other than a building. Iris waited. She got pregnant. We were so happy. Fixed up the nursery. Painted it yellow. Sarah said yellow was hope. His voice cracked. She went into labor December 20th, 30 years ago. Next week. Complications. Doctors tried everything. She died? Iris whispered. She lived long enough to hold our daughter. 3 hours. That's all we got. 3 hours with this perfect little girl who looked just like her mother. Then... He couldn't finish. The baby died too? Warren nodded. Heart defect. They said she never would have made it long anyway. Said that was supposed to make it better. It didn't. Silence. That's why you don't go to church, Iris said. Yeah. You blame God. I blamed everyone. God. The doctors. Myself. Warren wiped his face roughly. Mostly myself. I was the one who wanted kids. I was the one who pushed. If we just stayed the way we were, she'd still be alive. It's not your fault. Feels like it. Feelings lie sometimes. Warren looked at her. 9 years old, and already knew that truth. After, he said, I couldn't be around people. Couldn't hear them tell me it was God's plan, or everything happens for a reason, or she's in a better place. So I built walls, made money, locked every door in this house, locked every door in myself. And then I showed up. Yeah, by your barn door. That you couldn't open. Warren's throat was tight. Because I'd locked it, like I locked everything. Understanding settled between them. Is that why you kept me? Iris asked. Because of your daughter? No. Warren shook his head. At first, maybe. Thought that's what it was. But then you started naming the animals and asking questions and eating like the food might disappear, and he stopped. You weren't her. You were you. Are you? And he couldn't say it. Iris said it for him. You need me. Yeah. And I need you. Yeah. They sat there in the quiet. Tomorrow they're coming, Iris said. I know. What are we going to do? Warren looked at her. This small, fierce person who'd walked through snow to find him, who'd named his animals and cleaned his lantern and made him remember what it felt like to be human. I don't know, he said honestly. But I'm not giving up, not on you, not without a fight. Promise? Promise. Iris unpacked her bag, put her few things back in the drawer. Warren helped her. When it was done, she climbed into bed. He pulled the blankets up. Awkward. Out of practice. 30 years out of practice. Warren? She said as he reached the door. Yeah? Thank you for telling me. Yeah. And Warren? Yeah? I'm glad I found your barn, even if the door was locked. Warren's vision blurred. Me too, kid. He left her door open, went downstairs, sat in the dark living room with the phone in his hands. 10 a.m. tomorrow, 18 hours. Not enough time to get a lawyer, not enough time for emergency custody filing, not enough time for anything except watching them take her. Unless. Warren picked up the phone, dialed. It rang 3 times before a groggy voice answered. Warren, it's 3 in the morning. I know. Sorry. He stopped. I need to go to church. Silence. Raymond, Warren said. I need to talk to you. Before tomorrow, please. More silence. Then, come by at 8. I'll be there. Thursday morning came quiet and cold, the last day before they took her, and Warren Hale spent it doing the one thing he'd sworn he'd never do again. He prayed. Not at 8 when he was supposed to meet Pastor Gould. Not yet. Started at 5 a.m., sitting in his truck in the dark driveway, engine off, heat fading, watching his own breath cloud the windshield. Didn't know how to start, didn't remember the words, so he just talked. Don't know if you're listening. Probably not. Haven't talked in 30 years. Figure you stopped listening about 29 years ago. His voice sounded strange in the cold cab, small, human. But if you are... He stopped. She doesn't deserve this? Iris, that kid. She's been hurt enough. System broke her. People broke her. And tomorrow they're going to break her again, unless what? He didn't have an answer. I know I got no right to ask. No, I turned my back on you, on everything, but this isn't about me. It's about her. So if someone has to hurt, he couldn't finish. Sat there until the windshield frosted over completely, until he couldn't see the house anymore. Couldn't see anything. Then he got out, started the engine, drove. Salvation Valley Church looked different at dawn, smaller maybe, or maybe Warren had just gotten bigger with anger over the years and now, emptied out, could see it for what it was. Just a building, white paint, steeple, bells that hadn't rung in 3 days. Pastor Gould's truck was already there. Warren parked, sat for a minute, hand on the door handle. 30 years. He got out. The church door was unlocked. Warren stepped inside. Smelled like wood polish and old hymnals, and every Sunday morning he'd spent here as a kid, back when he believed in things. Pastor Gould sat in the front pew, turned when he heard footsteps. Warren, Raymond. They looked at each other. 2 men who'd been something like friends once. Before grief and judgment built walls between them. You came, Pastor Gould said. Said I would. First time since... I know how long it's been. Pastor Gould gestured to the pew beside him. Warren sat, left space between them, silence, church silence, the kind that made you hear your own heartbeat. I need help, Warren said finally. I'm listening. Tomorrow they're taking her, social services, sheriff if necessary, and his jaw tightened. I can't let that happen. Warren, the law. I know what the law says. I'm asking what God says. Pastor Gould blinked. What? You're a man of God, right? That's the job. So, tell me, what does God say about throwing away children? About locking them outside in winter? About a system that breaks kids and calls it care? It's not that simple. It is that simple. Either we protect them or we don't. Either mercy matters or it doesn't. Pastor Gould was quiet a long time. You really care about her? Yeah. This isn't about your daughter? Warren looked at him. It was. At first. Thought maybe, I don't know. Thought maybe God was giving me another chance or some bullshit like that. But it's not about Sarah anymore. It's not about me. It's about Iris. About a kid who deserves one person in her life who won't throw her away. And you think that person is you? I think I'm the only one trying. The words sat between them like a judgment. Pastor Gould rubbed his face. What do you want from me? Tell them she should stay. Tell the county, the judge, whoever. Tell them, Warren's voice roughened. Tell them I'll do whatever it takes. Background checks, home studies. I'll sell the ranch if I have to. But don't let them take her tomorrow. Give me time to do this right. I already called them, Warren. I'm the reason they're coming. I know. That's why I'm here, asking you to call them again. Tell them you were wrong. Was I wrong? Warren looked at the cross above the altar. 30 years of not looking at it. Now it just looked like wood. You tell me, Warren said. Is it wrong to keep a child alive? Is it wrong to give a damn when nobody else will? Because if that's wrong, then I don't want to be right. Pastor Gould sat very still. What you said the other day about proper channels and people who feel good without doing anything. He paused. That hit me hard. I wasn't trying to. You were right. Pastor Gould looked at his hands. I've been preaching mercy for 20 years, but when it cost something, when it meant standing against my own people, against the rules, I chose the rules. I chose feeling right over doing right. Raymond, the bells stopped because I told them to. Said we shouldn't celebrate while you were harboring a child illegally. He looked up. But we weren't celebrating. We were judging. And judgment without mercy isn't justice. It's just cruelty in a nice suit. Warren didn't know what to say to that. I'll call them, Pastor Gould said. I'll tell them. I don't know what I'll tell them, but I'll try. And Warren? Yeah? I'm sorry. For the other day. For the bells. For, he gestured around the empty church. For all of it. Okay. Okay. What else am I supposed to say? You're trying now. That's enough. Pastor Gould almost smiled. You forgive easier than God does. Don't know about that. Never asked him. Maybe you should. Warren stood up. Maybe I just did. He drove home slow. Took the long way. Needed time to think. At the house, Iris was still asleep. Rita was making breakfast, quiet and sad. How'd it go? She asked. Don't know yet. Maybe okay, maybe not. Warren poured coffee, watched the steam rise. I'm calling my lawyer, he said. John Mercer and Helena. He owes me a favor. Big one. For what? Adoption petition, emergency custody, whatever legal magic he can pull in. Warren checked his watch. 6 hours. Rita stared. You're serious? Yeah. Warren, that's... Even if he files today, it'll take months. And it's not a guarantee. I know. You could lose everything. The ranch, your freedom. They could charge you with... I know. Warren set his cup down. Don't care. I'd rather lose everything trying than keep everything and lose her. Rita's eyes filled. Lord have mercy. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. He made the call. John Mercer answered on the third ring, groggy and confused, and then, when Warren explained, quietly determined. I'll do what I can, John said. But Warren, you understand the odds? Yeah. And you're doing this anyway? Yeah. Okay then. Give me till 5 p.m. I'll have something. Warren hung up, sat at his desk, stared at nothing. 4 hours until the lawyer called back. 17 hours until they came for her. Not enough time. Would never be enough time. But he'd use what he had. That afternoon, Warren went to the barn alone. Iris was with Rita, baking cookies or something. Normal things. Last normal things. He stood in the middle of the barn. Cold winter light coming through the high windows. Dust floating in the beams. The broken lantern sat on the workbench. Glass swept up, brass still there. Broken, but not thrown away. Warren picked it up, felt the weight of it. 30 years of dead faith in his hands. Some things stay broken, he'd told Iris. But some things could be fixed. Not the lantern, that was done. But maybe the man who kept it. He walked to the barn door, the one Iris had reached for that first night, the one he'd kept locked for decades. Warren unlocked it, opened it wide, left it open. Then he went back outside, stood in the snow, looked at the open door with warm light spilling out. Something in his chest loosened, just a little. He looked up at the sky, gray, heavy with snow that hadn't fallen yet. I don't know if you hear me, he said to the cold air. Don't know if you care, but if you do, tomorrow, when they come, he stopped, started again. Let me do this. Let me get it right this time, please. The wind picked up, blew snow across the fields. No answer came. But Warren hadn't expected one. He went back inside, closed the front door, but left the barn door open, a light in the darkness, a door that wouldn't lock, an invitation, a promise, a prayer made of wood and hinges instead of words. That night, Iris asked him if everything would be okay. Warren wanted to lie, wanted to promise her it would all work out. Instead, he said, I don't know, but I'm going to fight like hell to make it okay. She nodded. That's enough. Is it? Yeah. Nobody's ever fought for me before. Warren pulled her into a hug, held on tight. Tomorrow at 10, the world would try to take her. But tonight, she was still here, still his, still home. Friday morning, the social worker's car came up the drive at 9 o'clock sharp, and Warren Hale met her at the door with Iris beside him, a folder in his hands, and a choice he'd made in the dark that would cost him everything. Patricia Vance looked exactly like her voice on the phone. Tired, kind, procedural, 40-something, county ID badge, manila folders under one arm. Behind her, Sheriff Dan Mercer's cruiser pulled up. Warren had known Dan 40 years. They'd been friends once. Mr. Hale, Ms. Vance said, professional, careful. I'm here for Iris. I know why you're here. Then you understand, this will be easier if I'd like to adopt her. Ms. Vance stopped, blinked. I'm sorry? Warren handed her the folder. Filed yesterday. Emergency petition for adoption. Emergency custody motion pending judge's review. That's from my attorney, John Mercer. You'll find his contact information inside. She opened it, flipped through pages. Her face went from confused to stunned. Mr. Hale, this is highly unusual. I know. The process takes months. Background checks, home studies, court hearings. I know that too. And even then, there's no guarantee. I understand. Warren's voice was steady, calm. But I'm asking you to leave her with Rita Blackfeather, certified foster provider, until the judge can review the petition. Give me a chance to do this right. Ms. Vance looked at Iris. Iris held Warren's hand so tight her knuckles were white. Honey, Ms. Vance said gently, how are you doing here? Good, Iris whispered. He's treating you well? Yes, ma'am. You feel safe? Yes, ma'am. Ms. Vance looked at Warren, at Iris, at the papers in her hands. I appreciate this, Mr. Hale. I really do, but I have a court order. I have to take her into county custody today. The judge can review your petition next week, but until then, no. The word hung in the cold air. Sheriff Mercer stepped forward. Warren, don't do this. Can't let her go, Dan. You're making this harder than it needs to be. Maybe, but she's not leaving, Ms. Vance's face went professional firm. Hale, if you interfere with a lawful custody transfer, I'll have no choice but to arrest me. Warren looked at Dan. That's what you're going to do anyway, right? Single man, no authorization. Keeping a minor for 2 weeks, so arrest me, but she stays with Rita until the judge rules. Silence. Dan's hand went to his belt. Not his gun, just rested there. Old habit. Warren, come on. This isn't... I'm serious. Warren's voice didn't waver. You want her, you take me first. Charge me with whatever you want. Obstruction, kidnapping, I don't care. But I'm not handing her over without a fight. Iris started crying, quiet, trying to be brave. Rita appeared in the doorway, must have been listening. Warren, think about what you're doing. I have. They'll arrest you. I know. You could go to jail. Don't care. Ms. Vance looked between them. Mr. Hale, I don't want to arrest you. I believe you're trying to help. But the law threw her outside in winter. The law gave her 6 homes in 4 years. The law doesn't give a damn about that kid. Warren's voice got harder. So maybe the law's wrong. That's not for you to decide. Then who decides? You? The system that broke her in the first place? Dan shifted, uncomfortable. Warren, I've known you since we were kids. Don't make me do this. Then don't do it. Walk away. Give me a week. That's all I'm asking. 1 week for the judge to review the petition. You know I can't do that. Why not? Because I took an oath. So did I, just now, to that kid. Warren looked at Iris, then back at Dan. So if you're taking her, you take me too. That's the deal. Dan reached for his cuffs, and that's when Pastor Gould's truck pulled into the drive. Raymond Gould got out like a man who'd driven through the night, which he had, hair uncombed, still in yesterday's clothes, eyes red. Wait, he called, jogging toward them. Wait, please. Dan stopped. Raymond, what are you doing here? I called the county last night, talked to Judge Morrison's clerk, got her out of bed. He looked at Warren, nodded once, then turned to Ms. Vance. Judge Morrison agreed to an emergency hearing, Monday morning, 9 a.m. She wants to review Mr. Hale's petition before any custody transfer happens. Ms. Vance stared. The judge agreed to that? Yes. On what grounds? On the grounds that a man is trying to adopt a child the system has failed repeatedly. On the grounds that mercy might matter more than procedure. Pastor Gould pulled a paper from his pocket. This is her clerk's email, sent at 2 a.m., confirming the emergency hearing and temporary custody suspension. He handed it to Ms. Vance. She read it. Read it again. She looked up. This is legitimate. Yes, ma'am. Judge Morrison never does emergency hearings on adoption petitions. She said, Pastor Gould's voice got quiet. She said she's tired of watching children fall through cracks because adults are too busy following rules to catch them. Ms. Vance stood very still. Warren could see her thinking, weighing, county protocol versus a judge's explicit order. Finally, she looked at Iris. Honey, would you like to stay here until Monday? Iris looked at Warren, then nodded. Yes, ma'am. Allies with Ms. Blackfeather? And Warren, Iris's voice was small but firm. With Warren, too, Ms. Vance closed the folder, looked at Dan. Dan shrugged. Judge ordered it. Not much I can do. She turned to Warren. Monday, 9 a.m., Helena Courthouse. You, your attorney, and Iris. If you're not there, I'll be there. If you run, I won't. Mr. Haley, I want to be very clear. This isn't approval. This is a temporary suspension pending judicial review. You understand? Yes, ma'am. And if Judge Morrison rules against you, then I'll accept it. The lie came smooth. Warren knew he wouldn't accept it, would fight it all the way. But he said what she needed to hear. Ms. Vance and Sheriff Mercer left, cars disappearing down the valley road. Silence settled over the ranch. Warren stood on the porch, Iris beside him, Rita behind them both, Pastor Gould leaning against his truck, exhausted. You did it, Iris whispered. You fought for me. Warren looked down at her. Yeah, nobody's ever... Her voice broke. Thank you. He pulled her close. Didn't know what to say. So he didn't say anything. Pastor Gould walked over, stopped at the bottom of the porch steps. I should go. Need sleep. Raymond, Warren said. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Monday's hearing is real. Judge could still rule against you. I know. She's tough. Fair, but tough. That's all I'm asking for. Fair. Pastor Gould nodded, started to leave, stopped, turned back. Warren, I was wrong about you. About this. About... He gestured vaguely. About what matters. I'm sorry. That you drove through the night to save her. That's what matters. The bells, Pastor Gould said. I'll start them again, Sunday. Okay. And Warren, you should come. To church. You and Iris both. Warren almost smiled. One miracle at a time, Raymond. Pastor Gould got in his truck, drove away. Rita came out onto the porch, put her hand on Warren's shoulder. Lord have mercy. Yeah. You really would have let them arrest you. Yeah. You're either the bravest man I know or the stupidest. Can it be both? She laughed, tired, relieved. I suppose it can. Iris looked up at Warren. What happens Monday? We go to court, talk to the judge. She decides. What if she says no? Warren knelt down, looked her in the eye. Then we try again, and again, and again, until someone says yes, or I run out of ways to fight. You'd really do that? Kid, I'd do anything for you. You know that by now, right? Iris threw her arms around his neck, held on like drowning. Warren held her back. The small person who'd walked through snow to find him, who'd named his animals and cleaned his lantern and made him remember what it felt like to be human. Some things can be fixed, she whispered into his shoulder. Echo. Reversal. Her words from the barn turned back to him. Warren's throat closed. Yeah, some things can. They stood there in the cold. 3 people who'd found each other in the dark, who'd chosen each other when the world said don't. Inside, the phone rang. Rita went to answer it, came back out, smiling. That was John Mercer, your lawyer. He heard about the emergency hearing. Said Judge Morrison wouldn't have granted it unless she was seriously considering your petition. That good? That's very good, Warren. For the first time in 2 weeks, Warren let himself hope. Not much, just a little. Enough. The church bells started ringing again Sunday morning, slow at first, then stronger. And Warren Hale heard them from Rita's porch where he sat with Iris, waiting for Monday's hearing and teaching her, finally, how to whistle. She couldn't quite get it, kept laughing instead, trying again. The sound of her laughter mixed with the bells, and Warren thought, this is what Grace sounds like. Rita came out with coffee. They're ringing. Yeah. Raymond kept his word. Yeah. They sat in silence, listening. The whole valley could hear them. The whole town knew what it meant. Judgment lifted. Grace restored. Not forgiveness, not yet, but a start. That afternoon, Iris showed Warren something she'd been working on all weekend while he made phone calls and filed papers, and tried not to think about Monday. She led him to the barn. To the old workbench where the broken lantern had sat. It wasn't broken anymore. The glass was still cracked, spiderwebbed with glue seams where she and Rita had pieced it back together. The brass was polished but dented. The wick was new. Rita helped, Iris said. We couldn't fix it all the way. The glass won't hold oil. But she'd put a small battery-powered candle inside. LED, flickering fake reel. It can still hold light, she said. Warren picked it up, hands shaking. This thing he'd carried for 30 years, dead, then broken. Now this, imperfect, scarred, but glowing. Kid, he said, voice rough. Do you like it? Yeah, He couldn't finish. Iris smiled, took the lantern from him, walked to the barn window, the same window that looked out toward the road, the same window near where she'd collapsed that first night. She set the lantern there, turned it on. Light spilled out into the gray afternoon, warm, steady, visible from the road. Warren stood beside her, looked at the light, looked at the barn door, still open from Thursday when he'd unlocked it, and walked away. Open door, glowing window, a child beside him instead of dying in the snow, everything different. Everything healed in the way broken things heal. Not perfect, but whole. You think the judge will let me stay? Iris asked. Hope so. Me too. She took his hand. But even if she doesn't, even if they make me go somewhere else, I'll remember this. You, here, how you fought for me. Warren's throat closed. You're not going anywhere. You don't know that? No, but I believe it. Since when do you believe in things? Warren looked at the lantern, at her, at the open door behind them. Since you showed up. Monday would come, the hearing, the judge, the questions and the doubt and the system that broke things more than it fixed them. But that was tomorrow. Tonight, Rita made dinner for 3. They ate at the kitchen table, the same table that had been set for one for 30 years. After dinner, Warren stood at the kitchen window, watching the barn light glow in the darkness. Rita came up beside him, quiet, witness to everything. You know what I think? She said. What? He didn't save her. Rita's voice was soft, certain. She saved what was left of him. Warren didn't argue, because she was right. He'd found Iris dying beside a door he'd locked. And in saving her, she'd opened every door inside him he'd nailed shut for 30 years. Taught him how to pray again, how to fight, how to hope, how to be human. Outside, the barn light kept burning, a signal to anyone who needed it. Doors open, lights on. You're welcome here. Warren looked up at the ceiling, towards something, someone. After 30 years of silence, whispered 2 words. Thank you. Not much, just enough. Grace rarely needed more.